Well, this is Kurt, your engineer again. No new content. So here we are with some more filler content from 2006. Enjoy.
Good morning and welcome to a very special birthday self-salute at our little podcast, Bobcast, webcast, daily audio blog, internet, current events, comedy club, starring Kel Gradke, and brought to you by Weblake Software. Weblake.net with two B's on the web. 651-762-3700, 651-762-3700. To throw them all your software and internet business, such as what you're hearing right now at Bob Yates Show with two consecutive S's.com. This doesn't look like a Vera, does it? It doesn't look like a Vera. Vera? Like Vera Miles, the actress? That's not Vera Miles. Sorry, just going over the Yahoo Personals account.
Bob's lonely.
While the PDR-3 is away, the rat will play.
Actually, you play when she is here.
That's true, too. Got all about that. Did a little playing yesterday.
No.
Not play-type playing, but...
Don't hate the play, I hate the game.
Nibbling, tippling, mingling at W.A. Frost's patio lunch, and I tasted something that I would like to taste every day for the rest of my life. I've never had one before. Any kind of vegetable sandwich. The thought of a vegetable sandwich, I mean, there's no meat of any kind, no chicken, no turkey, no roast beef, no tuna, no nothing, just vegetables. The mixed vegetable panini at Frost's. I wouldn't mind tasting that every day for the rest of my life. And then, to sober up, went across the street to a little coffee shop. I'll ask Kel Gradke what he thinks of this. He's probably the last person I should ask, seeing as how he's kind of the second coming of Steve Buscemi in Reservoir Dogs and doesn't like to offer gratuities unless he just absolutely has to.
Right.
But I went up to the counter and I said, cup of coffee with a shot of espresso, please.
Sure.
And offered my bank card, which goes right to the checking account. It's not a credit card. I offered my bank card. She said, "You have any cash on you? We have a $5 minimum on any kind of card-type transaction."
That's weird.
So the guy next to her says, "How about a cookie?" I go, "Okay, fine. Give me an oatmeal raisin. Let's fill this out. Let's fill out our $5 minimum so I can use this card." Because that's why the bank gives you the card, so you don't have to mess with cash.
Right.
Well, it's up to me to sign the slip, which I'm then handed. And as with any slip that their machine dispenses, there's a little line there for a tip.
Oh.
I draw through the line.
Of course.
And I do the easy total, $5.20. Sign it, and she says, "Thank you." You know, like I wasn't punishing her for giving me the bad news about the minimum order for the card, and let's say I had tipped $2 on my bank card. $7.20 for a cup of coffee and a cookie? That's nuts. So I really don't know what to tell you, and I think I already have Kel's answer before he even gives it as to whether this is...
If you bring something to a table, that's understandable. If you take a while and get an order right...
She wasn't technically a server.
No, she wasn't. She was an order taker.
I shouldn't be quibbling, having just received an outstanding birthday present already from podcast subscriber Todd. Todd, thank you very much. I am floored. Kel Gradke was with me just moments ago as I...
My birthday's November 15th.
I'm always glad, to open up any kind of envelope and... it doesn't explode. But this exploded with all kinds of credit type value at BW3, which is a site, at least in Maplewood, of the occasional trivia exploits for yours truly, and Kel, and the rest of Team French every now and again. And I'm assuming it can be used at any BW3. Thanks so much.
I think next time you go out, you should invite Todd along.
We might just do that. Their stock is going nuts. They're almost $50 a share.
Wow.
BW3.
It's that shrimp wrap. I love
In other local or statewide financial news, regional financial news, whatever you want to call it, the big headline today, especially in the Pioneer Press, is obviously the sale of the Pioneer Press to some Denver outfit called Media News. It's so confusing now because I'd not heard about Media News, which I guess is tied in with McClatchy. They're buying from Knight Ridder. It's just too confusing. I feel for the people who work there, until, of course, I open up their newspaper and realize how crappy it is.
Does this lay my Star Tribune East thing to rest?
No. Your Star Tribune East concept is still very much in play.
All right. The other thing about your tip idea, I think when you made the effort to draw a line through the tip, that might have irked her a bit.
The thing is, it's for the same reason that people draw lines when they write out in cursive what they write a check for.
Right.
You draw a little line there, so anyone seeking to add to that via forgery will be called on that by your bank. Just a little,
You don't trust people.
I was probably about 12 when I was taught to do this. I don't know when I got my first checking account, but
I did the same.
There's always a line that you draw out there, so, And now you do it as a matter of rote, of habit, and it's nothing against the people you're writing the check to, and in the case of yesterday, I meant no disrespect. I couldn't see how, given that I was doing the work of taking the cup of coffee outside with my cookie that I had to buy in order to make their minimum $5 purchase requirement, I couldn't see how anybody was due a tip.
I have a similar story. When we did the Chili's happy hour over the weekend, and I bought my dad a beer because I figure, well, I'll get two, and then I'll have one for my dad. So anyway, I'm at the bar. I order it, and they give me the receipt. The bartender gives me the receipt, and I go to my dad, should I tip on this? I mean, it was like for $3 or something like that. And I said, should I tip? And he says, before he can even say, this woman at the end of the bar goes, under her breath, of course you should. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a young gal. I mean, she was
really
attractive, but I was about.
So you cut her some slack.
Yeah, I cut her some slack, and so I did tip. I tipped 80 cents or something to round it up, and
why would someone butt into a conversation like that? That is so. That's not Minnesota
I think
nice.
Well, Brad Radke had just given up a first inning 3-run home run to the White Sox, and I think everybody was a little on edge. But
everybody should have expected that.
Right. I walked.
Should have been glad it wasn't a grand slam.
I put the receipt down with my signature and the tip, and I put it down. And as I walked away, I kept thinking, "What? Can I leave my eyes off this receipt?" Because I kept thinking she might go in there and write another money figure. I mean, there in your case, that's where the line.
Into your conversation,
right.
She'll butt into your financial.
So I had to keep an eye on her till she left.
Butt out, Badinsky's.
So there's your half-price beer, your 2-for-1 beer store.
And apropos of other restaurants, I read this morning that Sydney's is closing up. They closed another couple of venues. As you know, within the past year, they closed the Woodbury location, which was a terrible location, and that did not surprise me. Sydney's became Fire Rock, as you know, in White Bear Lake, White Bear Township, whatever it is, 35E and County Road E, which really didn't matter because the service sucked under.
You have some horror stories
under both flags. Well, yeah, I mean, you could take a friend in there and not say anything about how they were going to be treated, and 15 minutes into it, whoever you brought in there for the first time would look around and say, I don't think I'm wanted here.
Didn't people yell things across the restaurant at you or something like that? I remember you talking about how the owner was, what do you do? And you were asking.
Yeah, we had committed the crime of asking that a basketball game be put up on one of the screens. Like, I don't have anything better to do?
Yeah, there you go.
And then there's the bartender who says, I'm going to step out back for a smoke. I'll be right back. It was as unprofessional as it gets. Well, I guess behind the scenes that tradition has continued because they closed the Minnetonka location, which to me is probably one of the oldest. They closed the Edina branch. They got IRS problems.
It's tax season.
Galleria business owes $205,000 in back taxes. Minnetonka location owes $179,000. The government only seized the Edina restaurant. It's now in the hands of George W. Bush. You know he'll run it well. And she knows, by she I mean the person they contacted, the IRS spokesperson, knows nothing about the reason for the Minnetonka closing, and the owners did not return phone calls. Apparently, declining sales from the smoking ban caused business to drop by as much as 60% at some of these Sydney's restaurants. Within weeks of each other, the partners closed Fire Rock and Vadnais Heights, which, as we know, is now Majors. Sydney's on Grand Avenue, done. Decoys in White Bear Lake, sold. The other three in this group are still operating. Big City Tavern, formerly KFAN restaurant. Decoys in Hopkins, and Tom Reed's Hockey City Brew Pub in St. Paul.
I've been to Decoys in Hopkins. It's a cute little place.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What about the one in White Bear Lake, 4th Street and 61
Never been to that
downtown?
one. It's kind of odd, isn't it?
Well, I would suggest you not go there. They put me in the hospital several years ago, and I haven't been back. You gotta remember not to place the mayo for the tuna sandwich too close to the oven.
Oh, learned that the hard way.
Tie a little string around your finger, kitchen help.
Is that kind of what put you off mayo then, at that time? 'Cause you haven't
For
gone
those
back.
few days I was off mayo, yeah.
You were off a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. And seeing as how you just mentioned Brad Radke, the Pioneer Press is referring to last night's winning pitcher in the Kansas City victory over the Twins as a portly pitcher. Mm-hmm. Portly pitcher puts Twins in their place. That's one of several sports items I did not clip, but I sought to remember for today's podcast. Santana goes this afternoon. It's a 1:10 start. We speak to you in the morning, very sunny hours of Thursday, April 27th, a birthday self-salute on the part of yours truly in his new maroon size small Will Truman tee.
Didn't he? You bought it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Santana,
$9.99 at Target. Not bad.
Didn't Santana pitch a lot of afternoon games last year? Isn't that what his kind of specialty is? Those afternoon ball games? It
Don't
seems
recall
like
that.
it. Oh, okay.
Don't recall. Twins will get their stadium if the State House of Representatives has its way.
You know, they're 8-12 this year, and they have They haven't led in any game this year. I mean, they haven't led all the way through a game. That's pretty bad.
And Santana is 0-3. That
Yeah.
doesn't bode well. Also, the Ontario
Wizinator
Smith era with the Vikings is over. I was going to, until this happened, I was going to suggest that maybe on the new pants, the pants part of the new uniform, that they have a little, I don't know, something leading down from the groin area of a different color.
That's a horse of a different
Nice
color.
contrast. Or maybe make that part of it along the inseam purple. Because this man popularized the term. I'd never heard the term Wizinator until Ontario Smith.
Somewhere there's a backfield just waiting. Ricky Williams and Ontario Smith just waiting to happen for some team.
Somewhere, some way, someday. Sorry about that.
You're a singing
Just got
fool.
a jolt of euphoria. And then, seems like there was one other sports story of the NBA playoffs this week. Oh, I know. Habs lost at home to Carolina. Apparently, this is going to be one of those kind of like an NBA series. Sometimes where it's either home and home, meaning the home teams win, or road and road, meaning, and that could be the way this is. But the Habs are still up 2-1.
What seed were the Dallas Stars? I know I hate to mention the word
Don't know.
seed in front of you, but
Don't know.
Okay, because they're
Haven't
down
followed the
3.
NHL
They're down
closely.
3-0 to Colorado.
Whoa!
And our own former Wild star kicked in the.
Did he really?
What's his name? Who's the defenseman? Who was on the team last year? He kicked in the winning goal for
Wow!
Colorado.
NHL
Willie Mitchell.
playoff fever. Catch it, huh?
Willie Mitchell.
Okay. I still think it's weird that a hockey player's name is Willie.
Yo, Willie.
I mean, to me, Willie is like a Major League Baseball center fielder.
Willie McGee. Willie Mays.
And the occasional football player. Brett Favre is coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the sports section. The new look, new attitude, Pioneer Press or Star Tribune East should consider doing what I like this little feature on the front of the strip today, this "Have You Heard" thing, which they then explore sometimes with stories, elaborations on these one or two liners inside the newspaper. Have you heard, and I had not, that in an attempt to avert unwanted sexual advances in packed subway cars during rush hour, Rio de Janeiro has joined Tokyo and Mexico City as major cities that provide female-only subway cars.
Wow, I bet you the lesbians
They probably
are hot on
think,
that.
well, I was just going to say, that's like lambs to the slaughter, so to speak. Kind of an off-putting analogy, cliche-type phrase, but then what do you do with the transgender GLBT people?
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of stuck in the middle.
And also under Have You Heard, the simplest grammar, long thought to be one of the skills that separate man from beast. Mind you, the simplest grammar can be taught to a common songbird, research suggests, but not to a Minnesotan.
Or to a Louisiana school student.
Oh, don't I know that?
I know.
I'm going to sound a little schizophrenic, but hey, that's better than paranoid schizophrenic when I tell you what I'm about to tell you regarding the final 12 or so chapters of the DVD that after seeing maybe 2 of the chapters I glowed about yesterday. I glowed and crowed about Naomi Watts in the digitally shot and computer edited and rushed into video without stopping at Go or at theaters, a project called Ellie Parker. I'm going to have to take down my recommendation of Ellie Parker, so please disregard.
You're rescinding it?
All the goodwill built up in the first chapters with her auditioning and whatnot and her comic desperation
Dressing in the car?
is ruined by a lot of darkness. A lot of darkness in the mid to late part of this movie, so as a result, just, buyer, renter, beware.
Ellie Parker became Sarah Jessica Parker.
But after lunch yesterday, I was driven, thank goodness, because I know I would have wandered into the street beneath the weight of 4 screwdrivers. I was driven to Blair Box Office Video yesterday, where I rented. This is a weird deal. The actress in the movie won the Best Actress Award at Cannes for this movie in 2004, 2 years ago this month. It is only now opening commercially in the United States. Within the past week, opened in New York. Still, to the best of my knowledge, it has not opened here in the Twin Cities. It was here, one of our local film festivals, 1 or 2 of those ago. It's called Clean, and the actress's name is Maggie Chung, and she is excellent in this movie, co-starring Nick Nolte. She plays a strung-out pop singer junkie mom. And the director is her ex-husband. That had to be an interesting deal there on the set, Olivier Assayas. And I will definitely recommend Clean. And now I'm watching another I rented yesterday. I did find the re-release of Antonioni's The Passenger, starring Jack Nicholson and Maria Schneider.
How about The Sopranos? Did you check out The Sopranos?
I have not gotten to parts 3 and 4 of The Sopranos yet, but I promise you I will tomorrow. Return of business as usual. Today, a very busy day. What with the podcast, followed by the 8-year-old's music recital at her school, followed by
your birthday. It's just your birthday. In general. It's gonna be busy.
Seeing her this afternoon and her sister. We're going to have dinner and then a post-dinner trivia deal in Minneapolis. So a very busy day. But tomorrow I intend to get to those frickin' Sopranos.
And I'll get it back on Monday.
And speaking of movies, it appears that one of the scripts is about to wind up in the hands of a prospective director who I will not name. I won't even name the title of the movie that he is best known for. Suffice to say that it starred Alicia Cuthbert as a porn star who moves into a mid to upscale neighborhood and makes the requisite waves among the young bucks in town.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a fun movie, and it introduced me to her. I don't know of a role for Alicia Cuthbert in this particular project, as we call them out west, but I look forward to meeting this 32-year-old director I Googled last night, who I guess is in the middle of production on a clone movie. To the best of my knowledge, clone movies, at least to this point, have not done well. Is that fair to say? Was Multiplicity a clone movie?
Yeah, I guess, but that was before. That was just.
And then there was that Robert De Niro clone drama that just stiffed after a week.
And then that one with Ewan McGregor, and
oh, sure,
he's racing around the island. That's it.
Was that with Scarlett Johansson?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and that's stiff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going against the tide there, but I wish him well, especially in the event that he enjoys this particular script. So, a little part of me died when Phil Walden did a few days ago. It's obviously not my penis. That is bigger and better than ever. But Phil Walden, age 66, promoter of Southern rock, has passed away. No intimation here as to cause of death, but this man helped start the careers of Otis Redding and the Allman Brothers Band. We are in his debt. He is the founder of Capricorn Records. At the age of 66, his two most famous artists, Otis Redding and Duane Allman, both died unexpectedly. Redding at 26, plane crash. Allman 24. Duane Allman was just 24 when he went down on that motorcycle in 1971. He also came up with the Charlie Daniels Band, and who could forget, I think Kel and I did a Wet Willie Wednesday last year or the year before at WMGT or WEZU Wet Willie. Mr. Walden met Redding and Macon in the 1950s when both were teenagers. Became a top rhythm and blues star in the 1960s, as you know. Was on the brink of wider acclaim when he died. He had recorded Sitting on the Dock of the Bay just days earlier. Just days before Otis Redding died, he recorded that great song. Smash hit in 1968. Phil Walden was an early backer of Governor Jimmy Carter, helping his bid for the presidency, as did the Allmans and other Capricorn groups who played benefit shows. Our sincere sympathies to his widow, Peggy. They don't name him Peggy anymore.
You think they called her Peg?
I don't know, Donald Fagen. I actually whipped out Morph the Cat last night and unwrapped it and read the liner notes. Same thing with what's the Nora Jones?
The Willies.
Little Willies.
Little Willies.
Unwrapped that and looked around in it. There wasn't really much to see. Have yet to listen to either
They
CD.
they usually make CDs to listen to.
Kind of savoring them.
Jeez.
It's a slow process. Hey, speaking of, I was reminded of the announcement we need to make again, given that Fred just walked in, is that we will no longer be a disruption to this office effective Monday of next week. We will begin the live stream at around 6:55 and be out of here in advance of office staff arriving.
Out of their hair.
So look for the live stream shortly before 7, effective Monday, May 1, when Kel Gratke's in-laws will arrive. We welcome Coco and Suma, what are their last names?
DeSanto.
In advance.
Talked to him last night. It was very nice. I said, "Are you excited to come?" In Spanish, mind you. I said, "Are you excited to come?" And they said, "Yes, sí." "Are you excited to have us?" I said, "Yes, I'm very hungry."
Wow.
Mucho hambre. Oh, they cook so well.
Well, that plays to your strength because you're all about eating.
I am. This is from a man who goes out every night.
Gluttonous, sedentary lifestyle.
Talks about his vegetable sandwich, the first thing.
It was really good. It was really tasty.
You're the one who loves food.
And then I ate it cold. I like the taste of food, not into the volume like you are.
Oh.
Because when you tell your mother-in-law you're hungry, I kind of infer that you're talking volume there and not necessarily taste.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
really?
That's the case. You think so.
Well, I don't.
Every time you used to see me, I'd be shoving food in my mouth, but that was just at certain times of the day.
But I think that was a hand-to-mouth deal. That's bending the elbow in Gratke land.
Do I ever go overboard when we get together at BW3, which we've only done twice? But
no, as a matter of fact, that wrap that you love is rather dainty.
Yes.
Of course, he eats 5 of them.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, speaking of people who live in other lands, as Coco and Suma do.
Sir Segway strikes again.
You were almost right on the money yesterday when you surmised that symbol in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen of the latest Zarqawi video was the time and temperature.
Yeah.
It actually was a message in Arabic that said, "Don't forget to pray for us."
Huh.
So I'm guessing this means that there's lots of short-term memory loss.
It's similar to the bumper
radical
sticker,
Islamic street.
The ribbon magnet.
I suppose.
They have troops, too. Save our terrorists.
He refers to himself in the video as the brains of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. He predicted defeat and humiliation for us. Well, that's a no-brainer.
Pulling our pants down and laughing at us, humiliating?
Like a wedgie.
Oh.
God Almighty, he says, has chosen you to conduct holy war in your land and has opened the doors of paradise to you. So, Mujahideen, don't dare close those doors. Give his people a little pep talk there. And these people, don't underestimate their interest in our media and what is being said in this country against the war effort and other little chinks in the Bush administration armor. Zarqawi says, why don't you tell about the reality of your soldiers and their failure to fight? Why don't you tell your people about the soldiers who commit suicide? And that's true. The number's at an all-time high. Why don't you tell your people that your soldiers cannot have any sleep without taking drugs, which make them like animals? Now, that I don't know about. He also mentions our evangelists. Well, you know, they're in the news practically every week. If it's not Dobbs, it's Pat Robertson. If not one of those, it's Falwell, Bob Jones. Zarqawi, a Jordanian, it says here, is believed responsible for dozens of car and suicide bombings that have killed and wounded thousands of Iraqi civilians. He also took credit for the November bombing of 3 hotels in Jordan that killed at least 57 people. It doesn't say so here. One of these was a wedding reception. This is what these people will do in order to advance, their positions on stuff in the world. A wedding party.
A wedding crasher.
Yeah, really, literally.
And that's not funny either.
Well, no, but I accept.
You'd accept a script from Al-Qaeda. I mean, if they accept your script.
There's a front page article in the Strib today by Jeff Strickler about whether the Twin Cities and the country will accept a movie, a drama about Flight 93. I have absolutely no interest in going back there.
Isn't it too late to discuss this? It's in theaters.
Given how, avoidable it all was and how it takes 2 religious zealots to come up with a 9/11 anyway, one Christian and one Islamic.
It's funny, though, isn't it? If it didn't really happen, it would be, people would be saying, oh, I got to see this movie. It's got, such great stars. But now it's a real event.
Does it even have any stars?
No, I don't think so. But if it didn't happen, it'd probably have Kiefer Sutherland and Michael
Somebody
Douglas.
way misinterpreted the American interest after all this time in 9/11. They have wildly miscalculated. I would not be surprised at all if no one went to this movie. What kind of comic relief would there be? What kind of...
well, the other thing is we lived it, didn't we? Haven't we seen just about every angle from this anyway? I mean...
And then this is like your hors d'oeuvre for the main course, which
it's all about food with you,
which is Oliver Stone's,
yeah,
whatever that's going to be called.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's really going to be called World Trade Center,
I think that's what it is.
What a horrible title! It just lies there in rubble.
And they'll
World Trade Center,
WTC, just for short.
Good heavens!
Oh.
So, Zarqawi refers to bin Laden as our prince.
Who's our prince? That would be the little guy from...
I don't know.
Wears purple all the time.
Yeah, actually, I think I heard... Where the hell was I? Where I may have heard a cut from his new album. And it was decent. I had to put up with a lot of Tony Bennett and Starbucks today.
Oh. You
I
usually like Tony
Bennett. I heard a
Bennett.
triple mocha mocha ordered today. Not just a triple mocha mocha, but a triple mocha mocha with something about spill room. You wouldn't believe the kinds of drinks that are ordered in these coffee shops. It's like people are stepping up to the counter and ordering braziers.
Triple mocha mocha? So that'd be mocha 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 mocha.
Triple mocha mocha with something spill room.
You gotta coffee shops. You're always in a coffee shop.
Whatever happened to just asking a person for a cup of coffee? The fanciest I get is what I ordered yesterday, just a cup of coffee with a shot of espresso. I'm sorry, you got any cash on you? By God, you will have no peace in the land of Islam. Your dreams will be defeated by our blood and our bodies. What is coming is even worse. I wish Zarqawi would come over here and give that same kind of hell to our coffee shops. He then refers to the Shiites as Rawafid, which means roughly rejector. So it's the rejector versus the decider. He is perhaps the single most hunted man in Iraq. Do you realize that? Americans are offering a $25 million reward for information leading to his death or capture. How do we have any money left in this country?
Eddie money.
We just, any money. And for that matter, Eddie money. Where the hell is Eddie money? And does he have any money? Probably not. Could I get 2 tickets to Paradise, please? Find out today in the newspaper that the CIA flew 1,000 secret operations over Europe. 1,000.
Really
Think
secret.
just from a gasoline standpoint, just from a jet fuel standpoint. What a waste.
I know.
Running these suspects to places in Europe where you can torture them, knowing full well that this is like, trying to harm a leather gay and thinking you're going to get anything out of it. Oh, please. Oh, don't hit me again. Don't hit me again. $25 million for this one guy. Yep, well worth it.
A good phrase we could start maybe. Get behind me, Zarqawi. Like when you're really upset with somebody. Get behind me, Satan.
Zarqawi holds up the heavy machine gun in the video, shows his bare forearm. The scenery surrounding him is mostly flat and brown and bare, suggesting any number of places in Iraq or the Middle East. He's a separated birth with somebody, and I can't figure out who.
Chuck Mangione.
I suppose if I'm trying to visualize a flugelhorn in front of his face.
I don't know. It's just so easy for me to hate Mangione. I might as well direct all my hatred in one place. Stop it! Stop it! Oh!
I don't suppose you remembered to tape my Billie Jean King special last night.
No, I didn't. You didn't ask me.
She's a lesbian,
I've heard that.
And what's weird is I met her girlfriend way back before she was
Back
Billie
in the
Jean
day?
King's girlfriend. 1976, it was a women's world doubles tournament. That's where I met Navratilova for the first time in Dallas at Moody Coliseum on the campus of Southern Methodist University. And Billie Jean's girlfriend, who has since become her partner, we're talking 30 years ago now, and her name is Alana Klosh. It's spelled Kloss. She is South African. And apparently they're very happy with each other. I'm guessing Billie Jean King, or as she was known in that time, Bill.
Seriously?
Nastasi would call her Bill.
That's funny.
Bill and Ilana, I'm guessing Bill is the Bill of the pair. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I got
Because
you.
she's referred to by the New York Times as stout. Billie Jean King is stout.
You say they've been together for...
Well, I don't know when they met or when they became an item, or I don't know, but I just know that they're living together now, according to the account from the documentary written by a writer who had already seen it. And Billie Jean King strikes me as the type of former athlete, even in team sports. You'll see some athletes who have some, pride in their health and appearance. Unless, of course, they're in a committed relationship, as Bill is with Ilana Kloss, and sometimes the husband lets himself go.
Yeah.
He becomes enormous. In this case, maybe it's just one of those, you're settled into a relationship, and you know that no matter how grotesque you look, the other person's still going to love you. It's the way it is in a lot of straight relationships. Sometimes it's the woman who does that. Sometimes both people.
I wonder if they have
But
any...
sometimes you see former NFLers or former baseball players. Not that baseball has ever been exercised and could keep weight off, but they go to seed. Look at your mourners at the Kirby Puckett function in the Metrodome. Large barges. I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I wonder if they have any kids, Bill and Ilana.
I'd be very surprised.
Because it says here, Melissa Etheridge and her partner, Tammy Lynn Michaels, will welcome their first children, twins, this fall.
Oh, my goodness.
For the curious, Dad is an anonymous donor. Now, how did we find out last time that it was... Because wasn't it David Crosby?
I think you're right.
This time they're keeping it mum. So I'm sure they know, don't they?
Well, it wouldn't have to be a celebrity. It wouldn't have to be
I
David
know,
Crosby.
right? But they've done enough research; they know who it is.
That is another.
Have you considered that?
That is another aspect of this culture that shows you that the wheels are just coming off. That we're just you might as well stick the name Rome on us. Throw out this U.S. of A. stuff. When a not that I'm not washed up in what little it is that I do well in this particular professional venue, so I really have no business calling anybody else washed up. But when David Crosby becomes the human sperm bank of choice in the United States of America, that is when
I always thought there were regulations as to who could donate. Because I know, have you ever considered donating a little bit to the cause?
I have been donating. I have 3 children.
No, I mean to the sperm bank.
Well, why would I want to do that?
I don't know.
Oh, you mean for extra money?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've considered it, but I don't even know. I think it sounds kind of strange.
I would rather stay at home and do the pro bono work.
Oh, do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the freezer.
Billie Jean King would have definitely have a hard time. This is something I won't miss, by the way, what's going on behind us. I will not miss that. Come Monday next week. She will not be able to fit in the new leaner seats on airlines.
This is a segue?
With the help of, a pretty tenuous one, too. Even worse than, speaking of people from other lands, with the help of stronger materials and slimmer seat backs, have added 6 seats on a typical Boeing 737 for a total of 156, and as many as 12 new seats on a Boeing 757 for a total of 200. As I think the equivalency I drew yesterday or the day before was the way Clear Channel used to compress time in music or commercial time, so you could get more commercials into an hour, and now this is how they're squeezing additional passengers into certain airplanes. And Airbus has been quietly pitching a standing room only option to Asian carriers. I did not turn back to A1 to see the explanation of this story, but I hope this doesn't mean that people will be standing during flights, and that the lap passenger of today will become the hold your own baby while you stand during the flight of tomorrow.
That's right.
I hope that's not true.
You hope not.
You're not supposed to be standing during a flight, are you?
No. They make a point to say, please keep your seats. Please take your seats and put your seatbelt on. How do you put a seatbelt on?
Even when they're taxiing, to the gate after they've landed, they tell you to keep your seatbelts on. That I've never understood. You ought to be able to stand then.
What I don't understand is, while they're telling people to sit down, the stewardess are standing up. Flight attendants are standing up. Well, what kind of that's a mixed message.
I think it could be that the flight attendants would know how to deal with a sudden.
I know how to deal
with a sudden.
I could cope.
Jesus-like ascension.
Jesus,
like we're just going to go straight up in the plane. I've always found that to be bogus. That's what hell will be like. You'll be standing at the back of the plane, strapped in somehow to the wall, because they're selling standing room only. You're carrying your child, and you're surrounded by people using cell phones because of the relaxation.
No, that's your hell.
Because of the relaxation of the cell phone rules on airplanes. That's what hell will be like. And then when you can get a hand free, it's to eat airline food.
I like airline food.
Do you really? Then that you're just proving a point that I resumed.
You never get more
moments
hungry.
Ago.
I never work up a hunger more than when I get on a flight.
Well, do you bring food on board as I do?
No.
You buy it. You buy it on the plane?
No. Well, they used to give it free.
I don't know how long it's been since you've taken a plane flight.
Pretzels. They give you pretzels. I've gotten sandwiches without paying for it.
Oh, airline pretzels. Ooh la la. You wouldn't rather bring your own pretzels or bring something of quality to eat rather than eat their crap?
I'll eat their crap. Save a buck. You know me. I'm cheap.
9 men charged under Cameroon's anti-sodomy law have been acquitted and released from prison. I wish I could acquit you. They were arrested at a gay nightclub in Cameroon's largest city last May.
The gay nightclubs always have such interesting names like Manhole and stuff like that. Is there
I don't know how this goes in Cameroon. I don't know what the place was called in Cameroon.
No.
And held on suspicion of having committed sodomy, which carries a sentence of up to 5 years in prison. Get that out of there, young man, and come with me. We're going to see a judge.
So they go to prison and have it done? I don't understand.
There's another mixed message, or kind of a redundancy or something.
Take you out of there and put you in there.
So it's not that just the United States or some states within the United States that have some backward views toward people of alternative lifestyles. And here's the item about the no-men train cars that we found on the front of the Star Tribune today. Dateline Brazil. Women filled no men-allowed subway cars in Rio de Janeiro on the first day of a new law intended to avert groping and other sexual harassment.
That's your strength.
So rather than put, what are they called now? Air marshals that we have in airplanes to subvert terrorism, they won't put, marshals on trains to monitor the groping, so they've just thrown out their hands and said, okay, let's just give the women their own train. And then what's going to happen is the lesbians will be doing the groping.
But here's the other scenario. Let's say they have the door open to this train and it's just for women only. Will George Wallace come and stand at the door and when a man tries to get on?
I should have told you before the podcast. I should make a little note to tell you that George Corley Wallace died several years ago.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
A law obliges underground and above-ground railways to have separate cars for women during rush hours.
Corley?
Rio joins Tokyo and Mexico City as major cities that provide women-only train cars. Yes, George Corley Wallace, married to a woman who took over as governor when he, either had to step down or was shot in Maryland by Arthur Bremer in 1972. Her name, Lurleen.
Who played him in the biopic
Wallace.
That was in the movie? Was it Gary Sinise?
I believe it was Gary Sinise, yeah.
Gary Sinise has played everybody, hasn't he, at some point?
Gary Sinise is neck and neck with... who's the Beethoven and Dracula and Lee Harvey and Sid Vicious guy?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yeah. A man was killed when a huge hole opened beneath his house in Alta, California. After 2 days of recovery efforts, workers reached the body this past Sunday. Authorities identified the man as Jason Chelou, age 32, a school teacher whose wife was pregnant. This is tragedy layered upon tragedy here. And then how do you go about, well, first of all, cleaning him off, and then second of all, eulogizing such a person? His own house killed him. He was swallowed up in a sinkhole. All the more reason not to spend any more time than you absolutely have to, except to maybe do a movie deal or something, in California.
You think he just had said, I wish the world would just open up and swallow me whole? Some
he had
people
everything
say
to
that.
live for, though. He had a pregnant wife. He had
I know what it means to
regular employment as a teacher.
To wish for death with a pregnant wife is sometimes...
He was in his living room 9:30 at night last Friday, which means he was probably watching, one of the CSIs.
Late night porn.
When the floor of his home opened beneath him. Like some sort of scene from Invaders from Mars. His wife was in bed and was uninjured. Honey, what's going on in there?
So the guy just got the Earth just got the bottom floor. It didn't eat the top floor, I guess. That's what it looks like.
I don't know how many floors we're dealing with here. All I know is he was sitting there probably watching TV and snacking, and before you know it, he's under his own house. This area in the Sierra Nevada foothills was heavily mined for gold in the late 1800s. A mine collapse is one possible cause of the accident. A team of 100 people was investigating the site, including numerous geologists. This does sound like a movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of a cross between Invaders from Mars,
Tremors.
where people used to disappear
Tremors?
into the earth, Tremors, or you just call it Sinkhole. I don't care.
Sinkhole. That'd be a good name for a gay bar.
Well, I like Sinkhole better than World Trade Center as titles go. The Bob in the Morning podcast, webcast, Bobcast, audio blog, current events, comedy club starring Kel Gradke salutes for this well-timed decision to get back into politics.
Morgan's dad?
Yes. Just when this outlook on life was more popular than ever before, witness George Bush's 32% approval rating, Rod Grams has decided he might want to oppose Representative Jim Oberstar.
How many times a year does he come out and say something that he has to be back in the news? He's just a news hound that has to be...
Yeah, you're right, a spotlight addict,
Yeah.
a spotlight junkie. Third from the last paragraph should tell you all you need to know. He lives on a 240-acre farm in Crown where he grew up. Parentheses, this is what I take to be the hidden meaning. He's bored as hell.
Yeah.
And he's got his radio stations and maybe Morgan's tucked away for a few years of rehab, and he's got nothing to do, and he's got no secretary or chief of staff to chase around the desk.
Rehab's expensive.
He's bored. Just once, I would like for someone like this to say, you know, I got out of it to spend more time with my family. Well, I've done that. Now I'd like to,
Sick of my family.
Rod Graham says that he wants to reintroduce the contract with America, except this time we must stick to it. There's been a lot of wandering off the path. We need someone who's going to pound their fist on the table. Rod, pound this. As Kel just did.
We need somebody.
He is weighing a challenge to 16-term Representative Jim Oberstar.
Oh, that's an uphill battle.
Occasionally there is a debate over term limits. Yeah. You can limit these people's terms yourself with your vote. I mean, you can
vote for Rod
change
Grams.
These people after every 2 years if you like.
Which we did with Rod Grams by voting for Mark Dayton.
That was after 6 years, but I understand your point.
I thought he was only there for 2.
Senators are 6 years. Representatives are 2.
Okay.
George Corley-Wallace is dead.
Okay. I heard the news. The news last night
But
said
16 terms to re-elect a guy 8 times. I realize Oberstar is kind of a tool of the aviation lobby, big Northwest booster. But Rod Grams will decide in the next week or two whether to get back into the ring. If I feel like I can win, I'm going to jump into the race, he says. Oh, pinch me. And just at the right time, too, when his outlook on life is less popular than ever. And the nation is being bankrupted by people who used to feel that you spent only what you took in. So-called fiscal conservative.
Do they highlight his problems at all in that article at all?
No mention of any problems here. It might as well be an article about Catherine Lamb. He served a single term in the House and one in the Senate before losing to Mark Dayton. He considered running for the seat Dayton is giving up, but gave way to Mark Kennedy, who's one of the up-and-coming young kind of beige shirts, if not brown shirts. Governor Pawlenty, not polenta, that's some sort of foreign dish, has urged Grams to give the race serious thought. I got news for you. This is the time for Democrats to go against each other in order to try to win. I don't understand how Rod Grams thinks that this is some sort of even pinpricks worth of light at the end of the tunnel that would somehow translate into Minnesotans wanting more Bushies in Washington, D.C. In his 1994 Senate campaign, his positions on logging, land rights, and gun control. That's the 9th time you've checked your watch. What's going on? You need to be somewhere?
No, I'm just...
Logging, land rights, and gun control helped him beat his DFL competitor, Ann Wynia, in the district. But Oberstar has handily won every race he's run. He's one of those, Huey Long types, just owns that particular constituency. Nothing he could do. There's no animal he could be posed with in a photo that would cause Oberstar to lose, and now Rod Grams thinks it can be done. There's nothing about Jim I consider... this is nothing about Jim. I consider myself a friend of Jim's, Graham said. I still have a passion to work for the people of Minnesota and to add a voice of reason that I think is missing. Oh, I remember reading about your passion, Rod.
How old is Jim Oberstar?
It does not say here, but I'm going to say he's pushing 70.
Yeah.
Not all gray-haired people are in their 60s and 70s, as you know. But Oberstar has been around for a long time. He's been in the House. If he's been in there for, 16 terms, that means 32 years.
See, and let's hope it never happens, but let's say he did pass away. Do you think Rod Grams could beat him if he was...
dead?
Yeah. I mean, we all know some people haven't defeated dead people.
I don't know what the legalities of that are, whether
it happened in Missouri,
if there
right?
is one, or... that was...
Ashcroft, right? Or who was that?
No, you're right. Ashcroft defeated...
No, he lost, and the wife of the dead guy...
Lost to the wife of the dead guy. Oh, you gotta like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Go for this guy or go for the dead guy. I
love these opportunists. Pardon me, I did have a sip of Stella Artois.
You were foaming a little at the mouth because of the Rams.
Jack Klugman. Who talks like this now?
I think it's under control. I think it's a little.
Oh,
better.
is he better?
Yeah, I think he's
Fantastic. And it was because of what? Esophageal cancer or something?
Mm-hmm.
84 years of age today. Anouk Aimee, the camera, loved her as Lola in the 60s in French movies, and in the Robert Altman grotesque screen known as Pret-a-Porter. I'm guessing in her late 60s, Anouk Aimee of A Man and a Woman, the Lelouch 1966 very popular fraud film, is 74 today. Casey Kasem is also 74.
Well, is he still married to Jean, who's about half his age? Or
Assuming, by the way, that these are today's celebrity birthdays. They may
could
not
be.
be. I'm
Guess.
looking for, huh?
You could just guess. It could be fun to have people guess what day it is.
Casey Kasem has moved up to 74 on the charts. What if he's still married to Jean
That's
Kasem?
what I asked just a couple
just
seconds
now?
ago.
Apparently, my mind was.
But
off
you're
on a
yeah,
lark.
that's like a Calgracchia disease.
Yeah, it really was. Very Calgracchia.
What's your birthday? You're loud.
Actress Judy Carn is 67. Can you name her ex-husband, who supposedly
Alan
treated her roughly?
What was it, Alan Seuss? What?
She was not married to a fellow Laugh-In cast member.
I don't
Judy
know.
Carn was, I think her first husband was Burt Reynolds.
Oh, really?
Isn't that something? Cuba Gooding, of
Seems
the
like-
main ingredient, not the Cuba Gooding you're thinking of, is 62.
Oh. Cuba
Kate-
Gooding Sr.?
Kate Pearson of the B-52s is 58 today. Not recently, but today. Offshore Account Guy will enjoy hearing that Ace Frehley of Kiss is 55.
Big
Kiss
Kiss
is his
guy?
favorite band, yeah.
Detroit Rock City?
He is just waiting for one of those topics, TOPIX, NTN trivia games, to devote itself strictly to Kiss. He's
He'll
just going to
pounce.
he'll pounce. He'll ace them all 15 questions. Sheena Easton.
Oh, Sugar Ball?
I knew it.
You started
I
me
knew
on that.
you were gonna say
I didn't
that.
even really, wasn't even a real fan of it until you introduced me to
47
it.
years of age today. Well, you know, I don't write them. Prince writes them, and she sang that one, and she's 47 today. A little redhead.
She was
Cutie
blonde
from,
last time I saw
What
her.
is she, an Aussie or a Welsh woman
I
or
don't know.
something? What the hell was she? Scot. I think she's a Scot.
When she came to town a couple years ago for Peebo Bryson's Christmas concert, along with Christopher Cross.
Is that an annual affair, the Peebo
Yeah,
Bryson
it
Christmas
is.
concert?
Actually,
really?
it is. I don't know what he calls it. Colors of Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's usually there with a black singer, and then he'll bring a couple of white singers in, and it'll just be all multi.
Any Buffy St. Marie, any Native American vibe?
No, I haven't seen one of those yet. But Christopher Cross came one year.
How about Asians? How about
Asians.
Q Sakamoto?
I wonder what he's up to. But she was blonde. Sheena Easton was blonde. And singing the Christmas
Freddie-
favorite, For Your Eyes Only.
Freddie Fender representing the brown people?
That's very funny.
Well, I don't know. Colors of Christmas. What is it? Is this replace the Andy Williams Christmas special? James LaGrosse of Ally McBeal and a number of
What was that movie where he was...
cable or indie movies. I like the one he did with Diane Lane called My New Gun. You ever see that? That was fun.
Is he married to Moritini?
Yes, he is, as a matter of fact.
So he did that fast food movie with Christopher Walken. What was that called? Oh, something indie.
Something
It was
PA.
yeah, something PA.
Scotland, PA, something
that's
like
it.
that. And the rest of the celebrity birthdays are, people
Nevermind?
people I've never heard of in bands like Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
Was it Big Head Todd?
No, it is not Big Head Todd.
Oh,
It's
it's the other
someone whose employer is
Did
Big
you
Head
just look
Todd.
at your watch?
I did, as a matter of fact. Once. It's the one time I've looked at it.
Taking medication.
Now, very quickly, highlights of the local listings, and by highlights, what I would be watching if I were watching, which I won't be tonight because there are birthday-related functions
Festivities.
to go to. Festivities, that's exactly right. I don't know of anything at first glance that attracts me in the regular broadcast realm. Because on Channel 2, they want to take you back to World War II, and then you have your forensics, shows on CBS Channel 4. Look at this. This kind of surprises me. ABC Channel 5 is bringing back Commander-in-Chief tonight at 9 o'clock. There's a case of too little too late.
You're running out the string.
No interest in the OC on Channel 9. And I'm not I know I wear the Will Truman T-shirt well, but I have no interest in Broadway tunes. And on great performances tonight, Channel 17, South Pacific in concert from Carnegie Hall.
I turned on a little of that last night. Alec Baldwin was singing.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh,
He is really very much back with us, isn't he?
he is.
He's been on Broadway. And then,
He hosts Saturday Night Live all the time.
yeah, the Bloviator, Alec Baldwin. I wonder how the legal wrangling between he and Kim Basinger worked out, because there were some suits and countersuits there.
Did she find another?
In the grappling for custody.
Has either of them got caught on with somebody else yet?
I have no idea what's happened to Kim Basinger.
Yeah, she's kind of fallen off, hasn't she?
Yeah. She got full of herself, bought an island, and then had to
what's her
give it up.
problem? Is she has the nervous shakes or something like that?
She's a mess. She's a mess.
You wouldn't go near her.
She wakes up in the middle of the night worrying about the elephants. Oh, I hope the elephants are going to be okay. She's one of the first of the greenies, but, like green people. Which, by the way, what'd you think of that green cover of Vanity Fair? Have you seen that?
No.
It's the green issue. It focuses on celebrities who are environmentally conscious, and it's just boring as hell.
Really? Well, don't read it then.
I mean, I'm glad that they're... No, I don't read it. I just looked at the green cover, and then I flipped through it, in the same way that I flip through any edition of Vanity Fair. Because Twins and Royals are this afternoon, 1:10 from Kansas City, with Santana pitching. ESPN2 is going to do Red Sox and Indians again tonight. Did you see have you seen anything from either of the Twins Kansas City game?
Yeah, I watched a little last night.
Did you see any of those pullback shots from the center field camera? Have you seen that ballpark?
Empty?
My God, it looks like a soccer stadium in Brazil. It looks like it would hold about 200,000 people, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, well, there's
nobody there.
But they won 2 out of 3 from Cleveland. They've beaten us once, so
and
they're on the roll.
Mankiewicz made a nice play at first base, stabbing a line drive last night, and got a
How's
good base
Jody
hit
looking?
too. I didn't even think she's there. And you'd think she'd stand out in a crowd that sparse, wouldn't you?
Yeah, hot air balloons.
Sundance tonight, Catherine Deneuve, Belle de Jour. This is from Buñuel, 1967. I would definitely recommend that. Unless, of course, you'd rather fly to New York to see it at the Paris Theater, which is across the street from the Plaza, which is now condominiums. This is weird. I mean, this movie is going to be on TV tonight, and it's at a movie theater in New York.
That's
that makes
really
no sense.
Really weird.
And throw in the fact that it's, 39 years old. And that's strange, by any stretch, if you ask me. And those are, that's pretty much what jumps out at me in both regular broadcast and cable and satellite sports and movie deals. Just not much going on. This is a perfect time to have a birthday, because it's not like you'll be missing anything on television. I've been taping a lot of, even though each show airs about 4 times a day, but I'm never around when they air, and so I just go ahead and tape them. Daily Show and Colbert Report.
Oh, I see. Well, I know on Comcast they have this on-demand service that basically you can go on and watch most of the programs for free, like different things. Like if you have HBO, you can watch old Sopranos episodes whenever you want to, and they have the Daily Show. They have all the different Comedy Central shows. You can watch Daily Show whenever you want to, or Colbert Report. Pretty cool.
What is your rating of your system's pay-per-view offers? Because Dish Network's just
that would be on
sucks.
That would be on the on-demand.
I mean,
network.
right now, I think you have your choice of. It's like being in a bad hotel with bad in-room TV choices. It's like Flight Plan, Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds, or
I'm sure it's similar.
Like
I'm sure it's not worse,
Good
but
God.
I'll check it out when I'm going tonight.
All right, very well.
All right. Yeah.
In the morning, then. We'll close up now and be back in the morning, roughly same time, same station, with the new, shortly before 7 a.m. era to begin on Monday, May 1. We'll be out of here, having done a live stream before 8 a.m. starting Monday, May 1, when Kel's in-laws get here. 3rd consecutive gorgeous day of the month of April. That is so weird. Tell me there's not global warming. I think Lori David may have a point. She's one of the celebrities profiled in this new green issue of Vanity Fair. Have you noticed how Larry David stays out of that stuff?
Oh, very much so.
He stays out of that to the same degree that she stays out of Curb Your Enthusiasm,
You're very open. closed relationship.
Yeah. Try the mixed vegetable panini at Frost today. You will not, your taste buds, assuming they had, let's just say for grins they had ears, your taste buds will not believe their ears.
I had a Whopper Jr. yesterday.
And they make a mean screwdriver. You can always sober up across the street at whatever that little coffee shop is at Selby and Western, but you got to remember, $5 minimum if you're going to use
Do you
your
really
bank card.
ever sober up?
I'd love not to be right now. So, back again tomorrow, WebLeg Software, webleg.net with 2 B's on the web, 762-3700-651. Call to throw them all your software and internet business. Thank you for subscribing and renewing and urging others to do the same before it's too late at BobYatesShow.com with 2 consecutive S's. Bonsoir, bonne chance.